A powerful painkiller called fentanyl is responsible for one of the deadliest drug crises in American history, believed to be the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 45. Think about that. It kills people who don't even know that they're taking it. That's what's so scary. More than 150 people per day in these United States die from synthetic opioid overdoses. And it takes only a tiny, tiny amount to kill someone. CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor Norah O'Donnell met a family touched by this crisis, and they are now working to keep other young people safe.
Landon Houseman was a popular basketball star, and at 16 years old, he took a fentanyl-laced Percocet pill and died.
Sometimes with fentanyl, you don't get a second chance.
Beautiful, beautiful son.
Sadly, Landon's story is all too common. Last year, more than 100,000 Americans died from an overdose, the majority from fentanyl, a nearly invisible poison.
Did Landon have a sense that he could be buying a pill that would be laced with fentanyl?
I don't think he even recognized that that was going to be a possibility.
In January, the Maryland high school sophomore bought pills from a dealer through social media.
No longer are we talking about meeting on the street and making that connection. The dealer is in your kid's pocket, along with the phone.
Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco oversees the Drug Enforcement Administration and says this is the DEA's top priority.
There were more deaths from fentanyl last year than from the wars in Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq combined. Why isn't this a national security crisis?
I think it is, Nora. I think it's a national security issue. I think it's a public safety issue. I think it's a public health issue. This drug is man-made. It's mass-produced. It's done largely in illicit labs in Mexico, where the drug cartels are manufacturing from chemicals, precursor chemicals that come from companies, we believe, largely from China. They're pressing these pills, and they're making them look like legitimate prescription drugs, things like Percocet or Adderall or Xanax, but they're not.
Deaths among teens have tripled. And in the last year, the DEA says it is investigating more than 120 cases that involve social media. They even issued a warning of emoji code language dealers use to target young buyers.
These are unsuspecting users thinking they're getting one thing and they're getting something else in the form of fentanyl. So that's not actually an overdose, Nora. That's a poisoning.
Why isn't there a crackdown by the Justice Department on these social media companies?
We're talking to the social media companies, and frankly, we're asking them to do more. They need to do more. They need to be policing their platforms to detect those drug dealers that are on those platforms and pushing it out to kids. So they need to use, quite frankly, the same tools and the technology that allows them to exquisitely serve up those ads for all sorts of things that we're buying online, and identify those drug dealers and getting them off.
The dealer who sold the fake Percocets to Landon is facing federal charges. But for Houseman, just one arrest isn't enough.
What does justice look like to you?
I can't go back and change what happened. But what I can do is try to do everything possible so maybe this doesn't happen to someone else.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Norah O'Donnell in Washington.
Really do applaud that father for speaking up when he's in so much pain. But this is scary. Your kids think they're ordering one thing, and then they get something else that's deadly.
Yeah.
I like how Lisa described it. Not an overdose, it's a poison.
It's a poison. Yeah. And then the idea that the drug dealer is not somebody at the front door or at the playground, but in your kid's pocket,
right
in
in
your
their
kid's
phone.
bedroom.
That is when, as a parent, you don't know. Yeah. So that's why we have to check in on our kids.
That's why I'm a big proponent of parental snooping.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that.
I plead guilty.
There's nothing wrong
But those
with that.
days are over. Those are over for me.